Okay, hi, my name's Norm Reed. Been raising rollers since I was 9 years old. I haven't really got real serious till the last 15 to 18 years. The family that I have are the Houghton-related birds, and I've had very good success with them.
Norm, how did you come on to getting the Halton strain of pigeons?
Well, I've watched them, and wherever I seen them, they were the best I've seen, and so I decided those were the better pigeons. So those are the ones that are doing all the winning. If you check around.
That's right.
So you went out throughout the land and you viewed these pigeons for yourself, and you really admired them. So you brought them home and put them in your stock loft, and you bred out of them.
And I worked with them. I didn't become
overnight.
a hero overnight. It took a lot of work and a lot of picking out of the air and bringing them into the loft.
But the family you have now is a Norm Reed family of birds.
Exactly.
Because like you said, you know, some of the other families like the Haltons and the Coomerals, like, it's not to mock anybody, but they're different in type, where you have a certain type that you breed for, like everybody.
Right.
I like them a little bit on the short, compact, small. There's nothing wrong with that. Some may like them a little casty, and some bloodlines come that way, and then you just modify. But you've modified them into the way they are now, and it's strictly a Norm Reed family of pigeons.
Right. They're just a little bit shorter, a little more chest, a little better feather quality. I'm a stickler on feather quality. I feel that the bird, no matter if it's hard or a soft feathered bird, the quality of the feather should be there.
You're going to demonstrate that for us right now. As I'm going to ask you this question, and I asked you earlier about in selecting breeders, what are your requirements? And you have some birds already all lined up for us to get right into it.
All right.
You once told me, Norm, that the pigeon that is wild in the hands is wild in the air. Remember we talked about that?
Exactly. Pigeons that are nutty in your hand, you can't. Once you pick them up, all that fighting and kicking should stop. In other words, you reach in to pick up a bird, it shouldn't climb all through the cage. Now, here's a calm bird. There's no fighting, no jerking, and it's the same way in the air. And this is a premium bird right here. And when I pick them, even though the bird spins perfect, it's got to have a lot of other qualities. But normally, a champion in the air has got everything. But every once in a while, you'll get one that ain't just right. And if I don't like it, I won't breed it. Now, any of these birds here,
so you breed for temperament.
Any of these birds right here are just as calm as can be. There's no fighting, no jerking. All the
good temperament.
The birds. Attitude is very important. And feather quality, like this is a soft feathered bird, recessive red. So I would breed it to a dark checker. Then you get feather quality in your soft feathered birds. Whether it's a tortoise or a white or whatever, the quality of the feather will still be there. It's just a rule of thumb in breeding good rollers is hard feather to soft feather. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but it works.
I see.
In other words, hard-feathered birds have resistance to the roll. Soft-feathered birds usually are more frequent, a little bit deeper. Hard-feathered birds have quality spin. By putting the quality spin into the more frequent birds, you've got a bird that spins more frequent with good quality spin.
How about pearlite, orange eye?
Well, that's I really don't pay too much attention to it. A lot of people only breed orange to orange, pearl to pearl. I cross them any which way. If it works, it works. If it don't, you ain't hurt the breeders.
You said that the dark check is like the hard feather, and the recessive red is the soft
Right,
feather.
like blue checks, red checks, blue bars, red bars are all hard feathered birds. Tortoises, whites, blacks are all soft feathered. Red models and recessive red, they're all soft feathered birds. So that's what you cross. You're hard and you're soft.
This is what you've applied over the years
I
to
do
your
it all the
pigeons.
time, right.
Okay.
To maintain frequency and good quality spin in any color.
Oh, I see. So, what else do you, like we're talking on the subject in selecting breeders, what are the requirements? I know that you're deep into temperament. I know you apply
Very,
the
very
soft.
fast spin.
Yeah,
Spin is the most important thing.
okay,
If a bird rolls like a loaf of bread, it's worthless.
yeah.
He's got to spin
Yeah.
perfect.
But in the
When
ground,
when I select a breeder, okay, it spins perfect.
it's gotta have that first.
Got to have that first.
Yeah.
Got to have good temperament. Got to have all that chest up front.
Mhm.
Good chest muscle.
Mhm.
Excellent wing structure. The lead wing feather should be long cylindrical. And if you'll handle your fast birds, they all have it. It isn't a big wide feather. I don't like big broom tails. I like a small spoon tail.
I can see the birds real
They're
compact.
all that way. Feather quality is nice and slick. The eye nice and sharp. Very intelligent. Not a dull eye, a very alert, bright eye.
So Norm Reed doesn't go just by air alone. I mean, you normally looks for temperament, character, personality, all these little things.
All these things are in
Including-
champion
including-
birds.
And in the stock loft, before you make a mating, you make sure you put those hard feathers back on hard feather pigeons back on the soft feather pigeons.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That will help.
All right.
Norm, do you breed from a non-spinning pigeon?
Never.
Never.
Never do. I pick them from the air every year. Pick them out of the air. The true champions. They come in the front door. Something that I want to get rid of goes out the back door. If you do that every year, pretty soon they get to where they're all equal. You can't get no better. A bird can only roll so fast, so deep, and so many times.
Do you select birds for the stock that roll from the front of the kid all the time? You do, or do you select them from the back? You know what I mean?
A pigeon in the back is worthless. Pigeons don't have eyes in the back of their body. That pigeon back there in the back rolling is of no value whatsoever. It's when you pick the birds, you pick the birds that roll front and center in the kit. Those are the setup birds. Those are the birds that set the rest of the kit up. So if you pick all them and make one kit, you got a bunch of barnstormers.
But the back.
Pigeon in the back is of no value at all. He's rolling by himself. He's a tail chaser. That's all he is.
Tail chaser.
Actually, you'd be better off to kill him because he doesn't roll with them. He's just rolling by himself back there and chasing the kit.
Chasing the kid, tail chaser. That's the first time I've ever heard that. So you breed them from the front and from the center, but
You'll pick them from the front and center.
front and center pick them, but not from the back.
No, they're no good.
Norm, how many years do you got in some of these pigeons breeding them?
Oh, 10 years
10 years
This-
of
this
your
group
breeding.
right in here.
Of your breeding.
of my breeding.
Well, that's a lot of generations off
Yeah,
of the beginning.
well, a lot of them have died.
A lot of them have
A
died.
lot of the older ones have died.
Do you have you taken notice that the fast reflex birds are the better, they're better fast reflex eyes?
I haven't.
You know, like
don't pay
electrical
any
eyes
attention
or
to it.
reflex eyes?
I don't pay any
Are the
attention.
better? Have you noticed that?
I pick them out of the air.
Just out of
Whatever
the
the
air.
eye that it's got is
Okay, and then,
satisfactory to
but
me.
you look for a temperament, good temperament pigeons, good character.
Yeah, they got to be calm.
They gotta be calm.
A crazy bird in the hand or in the loft flying around nutty is crazy in the air. Usually they'll bump, bang, or roll down.
Norm, let me ask you this one question. The pigeons that you take to the show and win in the show pen, are they equal in the air?
They are my champion birds.
No matter what?
This hen was at the last show that you fellas were at.
Yeah.
And she won. Her daughter is in the kit box, and I'm going to fly her today. And I took her right out of the kit box to that show, and it won.
And that one.
Answer your question.
Well, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
You can win
I
in the
take
show
spinners
and
to
in
the
air.
show because this is a roller hobby. Now, why take a pigeon that's not a roller to a roller show?
Do you, are these considered small pigeons small pigeons, medium
I
size,
would
or
call
large?
them medium.
Medium.
Medium. I don't like the tiny itty bitty birds. They're too small. They can't hang on to a deep spin. The large pigeon, nobody likes them anyway. It doesn't say that they can't spin because they can't, but I like the medium bird. It's
The medium
strong,
bird is
strong
the one.
enough. I just don't like big pigeons, but I like the medium bird.
In the 70s, when they had all the dual purpose, remember the dual purpose?
Yeah.
They got too big, didn't they?
Oh, they got too big and they got to looking like Medinas. You know, and they couldn't roll, they couldn't fly, and that's what ruined the hobby.
You really think it ruined the hobby?
That ruined the
It
hobby.
ruined the
Right?
roller, huh?
Anybody that had those dual purpose birds, they were garbage. They were strictly for show.
But these birds can win in the show pen. But look at the size, Peter. They're exactly what he says. They're medium sized and they're flying pigeons.
I got this bird right here on film
Flying pigeons.
in the Ventura show,
They're flying pigeons.
and they look well back then. They look well right now. It's
Do
just
you
remarkable.
do you put father to daughter?
I have.
Type breeding.
I try not to breed close. In other words, I don't breed brothers and sisters. I don't
Any-
like breeding father to daughter or mother to son.
In the origination of this family, did you do it first?
No.
Never did.
No. I'll go an uncle to a niece or a grandfather to
Oh,
a granddaughter.
That's about as close as
I
you'll
don't like
go.
to bring them too close. It seems like when you breed close, you get genetic problems.
Okay.
You start getting stupid pigeons, or just like when, if you were to breed brother and sister in humans, you'd have a genetic problem.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing with pigeons. I don't think it's necessary.
So like do you do half brother sister matings? Or that's
Half
good?
brother, half sister, excellent.
Okay.
That's about as close as I like to go.
That's as close as you like to go, half brother sister mating.
In my family. Now, other people's family may work a little different, but mine works good for me that way.
Like birds that roll too deep, you don't use them neither.
I don't like deep pigeons. I like a 20 to 25 foot, just as fast as they can go. Anything beyond that, well, I like them. Everybody loves to watch a 60 footer, but you can't use them in kit competition because they're out of the kit too long and you're losing points. Or they just, they can't keep up. A bird that rolls 60 feet is only going to do it a few times because it takes a lot of power to spin like that. Whereas a 20-footer can do it over and over and over. In other words, if I have 60-footers, I never bring them into the breeding lot myself.
You think they would produce more 60-footers?
Probably, because it's in there. It's hereditary.
These pigeons that you've been getting ready for the World Cup today, how long have you been training them? How hard have you been training them?
Well, these I'm not too happy with because they're very young, and a lot of them are really not spinning to their top quality. Some of them have only maybe come into the role within the last month and a half. I lost the best kit, and so they're just a little bit too young, but it's all I have left.
You've competed for the World Cup before. How well have you done in the past?
I guess I've placed in it 2 or 3 times, I guess.
And you won one time also.
Yeah.
That was in 1990, 1991.
Yeah. I believe that's what it was.
And you've won. I see all these beautiful trophies up here on the top. Let me take a picture of these trophies. Which shows are these trophies from?
This is for the Tri-County, Southern California, or the Tri-County between Ventura County, Los Angeles County, and actually Kern County. And I took, not the Tri-County, the Southern California Championship. I took a first, a second, and a third. And then they don't have it anymore. That was dropped. And then the Tri-County, I've won that also. That's the one between Kern County, Los Angeles County, and Ventura County, which they have once a year.
Beautiful trophies. Getting back to these pigeons over here, and back to the training. We didn't talk about some of the training. What do you? How do you prepare your pigeons? Like food blend?
Well, these birds are quite frequent. And I feed them low protein up until they get to a certain age. The older a bird gets, the stronger he gets. If you can't control them with the low protein, then you'll have to go to wheat. But for years, I never had any problem. I just fed them the low protein. But here recently, I noticed that the birds were getting, starting to stop their frequency a little bit. So I had to go to wheat to bring them back on.
How low protein do you go?
It's.
Could we take a look at that?
Yeah, I think it's 11%.
I don't think I can reach down there.
Yeah,
but it's
low
11%.
protein. Yeah, 11%.
Would you like to elaborate on who these birds are up here?
Yeah, I can. This hen right here is out of my foundation hen, which was 991. She was a dark checker white flight hen that I bred, I'm going to have to guess that. I guess she's about 8 years old, the old hen. And this was off of the odd side hen, which was a full daughter off of 991 also. This hen right here is another daughter out of 991 from a different cockbird. This, let's say hen, is off of a tortoise cock, which I no longer have. Terry Taylor has it.
Do you want to go inside the breeding loft and get some more birds just like the way they are?
Yeah, let's go in there.
I think they're all locked out.
How many breeding pair do you breed out of, Norm?
I think I
Are we
only
on?
have 10 this year.
What are some of your top producing breeding pair you have in here, Norm?
Well, the 10 pairs that are in here are the best.
Are the best.
Yeah, I whittled them down. I had like 25 pair, and I sold off about 15 of them.
They
Would you
fly.
like to elaborate on some of these?
Well, this was an exceptional cockbird here. I took him out of the air this year.
Oh, he's a dandy.
How many feet was that bird rolling for, Norm? 20 feet. Extremely fast and tight. How about that tortoise hen up there?
That tortoise hen is also off of the tortoise cock, which I sold. I would say she was 25 feet and just like a rocket. And all of her youngsters come out about the same way. It's the only pigeon in here with a bull eye on one side and a beautiful pearl eye on the other. And she never has produced me a bull eye.
What body type she has?
Has she ever won in any kind of shows?
No, because nobody pick a bull-eyed bird. For some reason, they just don't like them.
Do you feel her body type is all right there?
Perfect. Perfect.
It looks good to me. What else do we got here?
You want to take a look out there?
Or you can take it outside.
They got a nice sun pin, huh?
Yeah, they get all the sun. They gotta have sun.
You want to get the other side too, or you want to go outside, Pete?
Yeah, we'll go outside right now.
These are some nice young ones here.
Yeah, that's out of that little red cock out there, and that white hen.
Strength, there's strength in the line.
Do you got people from all over the world coming to look at your birds?
Yeah. I ship them all over the damn world.
Do you?
I even ship to Holland.
You ship birds to Holland. So this
Some
is
nice ones here.
the
Yeah.
Norm Reed strain of pigeons.
D-Bach.
D-Bot?
Yep. Double-barreled ass kickers. That's what it stands for. Everybody's got a name, you know, and I figured, well, I gotta do something.
Let's go.
The hen that I had at the Ventura Roller Show, which won that show, is a daughter of the black checker inside. Exceptional bird.
What's she doing in the air?
Doing about 20 feet. They're probably a little thin because I've got them whittled down.
They're ready to go today.
Well, I hope so.
Who's the sire to this one?
This one here is a blue bar white cock.
Hey Johnny, can you put that in the show pen?
Sure. Which one? You can see the speed in the pigeon.
Here, I'll give you a couple more if you want. It's going to
Sure.
be flowing today. Oh, got feed in that cage.
Ooh, what's the black out of?
That's off of a pair out of that 991778.
Norm, can you make a prediction of how well your pigeons will do today in the range? How
Today,
good are you?
Is that thing on?
It's
or-
on. We're all
Turn
air.
it off.
On air. All live.
Turn it off.
Norm, I noticed the sheen on your birds. Is that with vitamins and mineral substances?
No, I give them a lot of grit. A lot of
A lot of grit.
and high protein for the breeders. In fact, I even feed my my young birds high protein, and it has a lot of safflower in them.
Will that be like 16% high protein?
Yeah, 19%.
19%.
Yeah.
How many months do you go on feeding that for young
Well,
birds?
the breeders I give it all the time, and the young birds I give it to them when I'm starting out, so that they get a good healthy start in the kit box, probably for a couple of months, and then I drop to the 11%.
How long will you fly a young bird in a kit until you put it in the breeding pen?
Normally, at least a year to a year and a half, but I have a hen in there that I'm going to stock after today's fly, which I've had in the air for 3 years.
3 years. And she's barely going to make it to the bullpen today, huh?
She is going in there today after this fly.
Is it the dark check?
Dark checker hen with a, actually it's not the one I brought out. Ready? Okay, this hen here I've flown for 3 years. She can roll 20 or 40 feet. The first year she was super, the second year naturally, and the third year the frequency stopped a little. She's very safe, never made a mistake, extremely fast, and I'm going to fly her today, and then I'm putting her into stock loft.
The bullpen, like you said.
Okay, last Monday I had an overfly. This pigeon was the first one down when it got dark. The rest of them overflew. And
Whoa.
she's very intelligent, and I like what she does, and I like.
Do you look for that, Norm, too?
Why sure, pigeons that
Not
show
by accident,
if they
you-
show you intelligence, they are intelligent. The rest
Those are
of them
the
are too
questionnaire.
stupid to come down. But it wasn't that she came down early. She flew for probably an hour and 20 minutes. So she wasn't wore out. It was dark, and she said, well, it's time to come down. So anyway,
This is a smart bird.
she goes into the stock loft.
And that's a daughter off that dark check hen?
Yeah.
Oh, she's got type 2, just like the mom. And that's a full sister to the other one in there?
Yeah, there's 2 of them
No
in there. There's
kidding.
3 of them, actually. But this is an old one. The others are from, they're just a year old.
Norm, for us beginning pigeon men or females, women, how would you like to explain to them would be a nice or good idea to go obtain some beautiful pigeons per performance in the air?
I mean, where to go?
Yeah, how does a young person get started?
Well, the best
And
thing to
getting
do
pigeons.
is get a hold of someone that's honest. and someone that'll sell you good birds instead of selling you their junk. There's several people around that sell a lot of good pigeons, but you need to ask around and find out. You know, there's all kinds of good pigeons in Southern California. They're available.
Honest breeders. In your eyes, what are other pigeons have you seen that are really fantastic in the air?
Well, Ron Kumerl's birds I thought were super good. When I was in England, George Mason's birds were excellent. Graham's pigeons were very good over there. There was Don Green was excellent, and there was another fellow by the name of Don. I forget what his name is. They're in the same club. They flew super pigeons. But that's just on that particular day. There's probably, you can't judge a person's birds the first time you see them. You got to see them several times because they can be off or on that particular day.
How are the pigeons very different in England and in the United States? Are there much difference in them?
I think the structure is a little different over there in England. Personally, I don't think they're any faster than what we got here. They seem to roll a little smoother, but their birds are the same as what we have here. It's just that they may have more people that are really 100% into it, whereas here we have so many flyers. A lot of them aren't really into it. They're just going along with the club or the friendship of it or something like that, you might say.
Yeah, I hear the Englishmen over there, they dress up really nice when they're going to have a show.
Oh, yeah,
They wear a suit.
I got to meet Bob Brown when I was over there. He's been a kind of an idol of mine anyway, and when I met him, he had a suit on and everything, and he died shortly after I left, and so I did get to meet him, and he reminds me of Homer Cordero. They both are short, gray hair, and perfect gentlemen.
Perfect gentleman.
And good pigeon. Good pigeon.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me at the show that you have the deepest respect for Homer Cordero
I sure
as a
do.
gentleman, and then he's a top-notch breeder.
He is an excellent flyer of the
He
deepest
sure is.
pigeons I've ever seen and the fastest pigeons I've ever seen.
I hear some people have made families from your family of pigeons, and Homer Cordero's.
Oh, I'm
And have
sure
gone
they
on
have.
to win.
I'm sure they have, yes.
What'd you say he was? He's out of a...
Okay, this cock here I bred off of a bird that looked exactly like this from Ron Kumaro to the black checker hen of mine, so it's a half-half cross. Exceptional bird in the air, and I stocked him this year. This black cock here is one of the last birds that I raised out of my odd side hen before I sold her. In fact, I stocked him and a red-white flighted cock with a white tail. Maybe I should have put him up too. And one hen. And they're all in the stock lot.
Let me elaborate a little bit on this pigeon here. This is what I consider an ideal pigeon. I prefer this type over any other type. And I consider the pigeon to be medium in size. And the 514 hen in the William H. Pensum book, it's very similar in type. It's got the apple body and it's got the weightless to the back. And I believe with all my heart that Bill Pensum was right here when he died. I've never seen a pigeon before. I don't know the bloodline, but I can tell you from just by looking at the pigeon is what I consider an ideal pigeon. And it's a cock bird. How did he do in the air for you?
Excellent, excellent pigeon.
How many?
Perfectly safe, 25 foot, tight and fast, very frequent. An excellent kick flying bird.
Do you have a sister to him, or he's the only
I have
Mohican?
one sister and 2 brothers.
You have a sister in the premises, or she's on the eggs?
Uh,
Is she on the eggs?
she's probably on eggs.
Oh, okay. That's a real nice pigeon.
Hey Norm, are the pigeons better today than they were yesterday?
I believe so. I believe so. I believe they're improving all the time. Competition's getting tougher. People are trying harder. And the birds are just getting better, that's all.
Even though we go on to breed them and inbreed them and line breed them, that doesn't hinder any kind of performance?
Well, it will. You know, if a person had good birds, he should still have good birds. If he doesn't have good birds now, he's doing something wrong. It's plain and simple. He's done something wrong. He either bred them too close and ruined them, or destroyed them, or not paying attention to what's going on.
How many breeding pairs did you start out with?
Oh, probably 7 or 8, I guess.
And this is all of the same family for 30 some odd years?
Oh no, this is the same family for about 15 years.
Oh, 15 years.
Yeah, I had 2 families,
You had 2 families.
and I completely eliminated one family because of their temperament. I didn't like them. They spun beautiful, but they were too crazy active.
Which family of pigeons was that?
It was an old Pinson family. So
Who was the father of this bird?
the father to this one was a recessive red cock, which I sent to Ron Kumro.
Is that the line that made the devil?
Could be, yeah.
You know, there's the devil hen, and then Rob Hurley has the devil, right? Devil, devil, devil.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was a pair that I sold to a fella in Ventura that produced all that devil stuff, which was out of 991.
that was the stuff that. Didn't you send a lavender chick to Ron Kumaro? But the parents that made the devil, didn't you send? You
I sent
the grandparents, maybe, or the
could be, yeah,
parents.
they could be, yeah.
Oh, that Pinson family of pigeons that you eliminated, which key birds were they out of?
I have no idea.
Just the whole Pinson family?
All I had was 2 of them, and I made a family out of 2 birds.
How many years did it take you to evaluate that?
About 6 or 7 years,
And then
and I eliminated all of them because I didn't like their attitude at all.
you came to that conclusion that they were not what you wanted.
Every time you pick them up, they were crazy in the hand, too many bumpers and bangers. And this family was much more stable, much calmer, different disposition altogether.
Did you get birds from Draconet too?
I had a cockbird that was out of a granddaughter out of Rusty, Rusty was a pure Houghton pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a couple other ones that were the same descendant, which I used because of the fact that they were the Houghton birds.
With the family of pigeons that you have today, other men have those families also, the same family. How do those families work?
Excellent. Excellent.
So there's not much work to this family of pigeons. You just gotta feed them clean,
Feed them,
good
take care of
food,
them,
take
pay
care of
attention to them, and fly them, and
it would work excellent.
they should.
Just as good as any.
Can we have you bring out that Kumaro hen? What is
Sure.
it?
This is a Ron Kumaro bird. Ron sent this to me as a gift. Excellent bird. I've had some pretty good luck with it in the air. She's a double bull-eyed, which doesn't mean a damn thing to me. I'm interested in spin. But if you want to eliminate the bull eyes, you breed it to a self pigeon like this, either blue check or black, I guarantee you won't have no more bull eyes. Oh, half mine. See that open check pattern? See that little baby over there, blue bar, white flag?
Mm-hmm.
This is the father of that pigeon right over there.
Oh,
This one I bred.
that's interesting.
2
I
years
never
ago.
knew that.
Okay, well, you'll learn a lot of things if you stick around. Okay,
This is a nice bird.
okay, here's a half right there.
Could you get that, what you said right now on that pigeon? I didn't get that on tape.
It's a nice one.
Damn right, it's a nice one.
You got a good eye for birds.
You bet it's a
Could you, explain what you just said right now?
Okay, this pigeon here is a half Kumaro, half Norm Reed pigeon. If you'll notice that it's an open check pattern, that open check pattern comes from the blue bar family of Ron Kumaros. He has very, very strong blue bar, and that's why they come like that. And if you'll notice, my checkers are just showing you, this one went more to my family, that the feather is tighter and darker. What was I going to say? When you bring in light-colored pigeons into your breeding loft, like whites or recessive reds or tortoises, they should roll equally as good as these dark checkers, or they don't belong in your breeding loft.
That's interesting.
And then you breed those to these dark checkers, and I'll guarantee you'll have a roll. Okay.
Starting
about blue checks.
Yeah, about blue checks and
Okay.
when you go into a stock lot.
If you're breeding blue check to blue check to blue check, you're gonna destroy your pigeons, because you're still gonna have very good fast spin, but you're gonna lose your frequency over a period of years. By putting the soft feather to the hard feather, you're gonna maintain the frequency. But when I say a soft feather, that soft feather pigeon better roll as good as any hard feathered bird you got, or it don't belong in the breeding loft. But when you breed those together, you should maintain frequency, spin, and control.
As a judge, when you've gone around the countryside and around the world for that matter, when you said something pertaining where you see you look at the stock lot before they put the birds in the air, and if they're all dark checked,
Generally, the birds are not going to be very frequent. They'll still spin very good, but they won't be very frequent, and the guy's score will prove it. They ain't got no score.
and you've proven this out already when you
Right.
more or less.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to get that in shape.
Well, they just took the biggest, bulkiest birds, I think.
Oh my God.
You know, they were so out of balance. In other words, balance is.
Did you ever see the Loomis birds, T.Y. Thomas? Go ahead, let me about balance.
Balance is the most important thing in a roller. If you
Oh,
notice
the flat
it-
foot. That's why
yeah.
they're flat foot.
Well, no, balance, the structure. From the front to the back, they wedge, right?
Okay.
The front chest is where all the power is. There ain't shit in the back but the wingtips and the tail.
Uh-huh.
And if you'll notice, every one of these birds
Like the
feel
black,
that way,
like the
right?
black.
That's what you call a balanced bird.
Mhm.
If the pigeon's out of balance, it can't roll. If he's bulky, you've handled them, they're big, bulky, out of proportion. Big heads,
Long wings.
big long wings, they're out of proportion. They can't roll. They're not designed properly. They have to be how do I say the word? Aeronautically?
Aerodynamics?
Aerodynamic or aeronautically
Built.
structured right. It's just like an airplane. If you built it like a cardboard box, it wouldn't fly, would it? It has to have some, like a jet streamline, and all that. Well, rollers are the same damn way. They have to have certain wing structures, certain tails, certain chest, the whole
So
nine
during
yards.
those years when they had the dual purpose birds, the people that had birds like you wouldn't place. Did you place back then?
Well, probably. Probably didn't even show them. I didn't bother with it. When they started showing true flying rollers,
Like
that's
with
when
Fred
I
Whitman-
started to show.
Like Fred Wimbigler's shows.
Yeah, right.
Those are good shows.
Yeah, those are good shows,
Mhm, okay.
Or this William Pensum is the same thing, right? That's the same
yeah,
show.
okay.
Then I started showing rollers, what I call rollers. And the birds that I take come right out of my kit box. If they're young birds, they're flying birds. You know, oh, they used to say, well, Norm saves birds for the show. Bullshit. I go right out there in that kit box and take them out of the boxes. And if you look at my birds in the kit box, they're not beat up. You know, you see they're not shit all over them. The feathers aren't all ripped to hell. And the reason that people bring pigeons out of the kit box because they got too much wire.
Too much wire.
Wire like this, either on the outside of the kit box or to the side, and their feathers get tore up on that wire.
Okay.
It rips them all to hell. Something in the box is ruining all their feathers. Make sense?
Sure does.
Yeah, you see them, they bring them to the show, you know, and I've judged so many shows, and you wonder, why would anybody bring this pigeon? Feathers missing, the tail feathers all frayed and beat it, looked like somebody took it and beat the tail on top of a table. Well, it's a show, you know, it's a show, so the bird has to be in perfect prime condition as far as feather quality, has to be healthy, alert, you know, and built right, or it ain't never gonna win it. Never in hell.
Can you distinguish a roll down by looking at them?
I can't do it. But I'll tell you what, I'll tell you how you eliminate it. Okay, when you have a roll down, let's say you get 2 or 3 of them out of the same pair. You want me to tell you how to eliminate it? You go in that breeding loft and kill both the parents and you won't have it anymore.
Roll it.
Well,
Okay.
how else can you do it?
Get that.
There is no other way. Because you don't know which one's responsible for that problem. And that's something that you absolutely don't want. Now, there's a hell of a difference between a roll down and a bumper. A bird that bumps is not a roll down. You know, comes in and lands, makes a little quick snap, hits the roof. That's not a roll down. What happens, you got pigeons that come in that have the ability to make a little flip before they land. You probably got them.
Oh,
And what it does, it sets the rest of them off, and they just, boom, let go. Excites them. Excitement sets them off. But a pigeon that's up there at, say, 1,000 feet, cranks it off, never stops till he hits the ground. That's a stone cold roll down.
What are some of your theories on why a roller rolls?
I couldn't give you the answer. I could tell, the only thing that I could say, and I don't know if it's worth a damn, is they started in England with them, and they probably had a bird that could flip. And they bred it to another one that made a little flip. Pretty soon they got them to where they would do a little short 5-foot spin, and on and on and on until they got 20-foot spinners. But as far as all this baloney about hawk attacks and epilepsies, I can't go with it.
How long do you fly?
If you take a human being with an epileptic fit, can he come out of it?
No.
How long do you fly before you stock out a bird?
Well, at least a year. My family, I can go at least a year because they come in a little earlier.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
All right.
Pigeons that don't come into the spin within a year's time, I don't mess with them. I get rid of them. I can't wait that long. I don't feel that anybody's family should be that late.
What do you think will happen if you did start working birds like that? Would those birds get later and later and
Later and later, and I don't know that I want to wait that long. I love to breed, and I breed every year. I want to see the roll in that first year.
Norm, I see these 2 books you got right here, the Kowalski book and the Pinson book. And in this Pinson book, Pinson says something about the bird maturing at the age of 18 months, 14 months.
Maybe in those times when he was flying pigeons, that's fine. But I don't think there's anybody in the United States anymore that flies pigeons that take that long to roll.
It's just too...
People that are tired of waiting that long.
I think it was
There's too many other families that'll come in
I
sooner.
think he was talking about the peak of when they, you know, the development of the roll. You know, they
Well,
come
I
in
could go
at
along
6
with
months.
that.
They come in at 6 months, but they keep rolling and flying best
Until they perfect it, you
until
mean?
they're
Well, that
about
could
18.
be. That could be.
But I don't think coming in at 18 months.
Do you ever put a breeder, a stock bird, do you ever put it back into a kit box and put it back up in the air?
No, once I pick a bird out of the air and it's in that breeding loft, that's where it stays, because why take the chance of putting it in the air? 9 times out of 10, what'll happen, that bird will roll down or it won't roll at all. So if it rolls down and kills itself, you've lost a valuable stock bird. You stocked him for one reason, and that's to breed him. Now, in England, they breed 1 round of youngsters and throw the breeders out. That's fine. But when you lock a breeder up for 9 months, 10 months, he's lost all control. Gains weight. He's not in shape. 9 times out of 10, they'll either roll down or they won't roll at all.
So in England, they breed 1 round and they put them back up in the air.
Sure.
To train them
But
back
you
out.
can do that because they're only out of the air for a little while. But we breed, you know, in California here, what do we breed? 8 months, 9 months?
It's because they only have so much daytime, right?
No, they don't keep that many birds. They don't keep that many pigeons in your kit boxes. They don't have
Oh, yeah.
a lot of kit pigeons.
So they push out the pigeons also.
Push out around and put the breeders right back out.
So if I bought a family, and like say I have 10 pairs or whatever, 8 pairs or whatever, in faith, I send for them back east, and I got birds flying in the air from them, and they've been in the air about a year, and they're not coming in the roll, or 14 months, 15 months.
If you want to wait
I
that
got
long, that's
flim-flam.
fine. I don't.
Flim-flammed.
You've been bamboozled.
I don't want to wait that long myself. I love to breed, and I put out new pigeons every year. In a couple of weeks, everything that's out there will be gone, except the young squeaker kid I have out there.
So you don't believe in breeding old pigeons? You like
No.
to push them out?
If you look around, people that are breeding out of these 10, 12, 13-year-old birds, and they're not bringing any young birds in, I'll guarantee you I'll whip their butt. Because they're not doing it right. They're not stocking from the air. Maybe 15 years ago or 12 years ago, those birds were good. But I'll tell you, in today's standards, you better get out and look around. You're going to get whipped.
Today, the athletes of today are a lot faster.
Well, yeah, that's right.
We've got to stay with the program.
Yeah, you got to stock every year. Every year you got to pick them out of the air. Because if they don't get better, unless those pigeons are just fabulous, which I don't think they are, if they were, he'd be winning everything in the world. And I don't know who it would be, but tell me. Attached to old pigeons, which don't produce, they are worth a shit. The pigeon don't deserve a perch if he can't reproduce excellent birds.
Like it's an 89 pigeon, or say 88 or 87 pigeon, and you haven't stocked out a son off of him, worthwhile, well, what's the bird doing in the stock loft?
Yeah, he's of no value if he can't produce.
Okay, but even if he's a stock bird, even if he did good in the air and you stocked him out, and he's a good reproducer, but as soon as you raise enough off of him, that are better,
Or if
you
you've got better,
you let go of the original,
right, keep the better ones.
and then stay with it.
Stay with the better
Moving forward.
ones. Keep stocking them from the air. If you got better pigeons than the parents, why keep the parents? Might as well keep the better ones.
What if you didn't have enough? I mean, what if you only had like 5 or 6 pairs? Would you keep those birds a little bit longer?
Well, you could, yeah. You could.
But say for instance, like you got so many, that's why you can afford to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't stock every year, you're not doing it right.
But if you have an 88 pigeon or 89 or then, you know, you've been breeding on them for 5 seasons or 4 seasons, they haven't produced not one spinner in the air,
Get rid
get rid of them. It's not worth keeping.
How many pigeons can you possibly stock out in 1 year?
It's hard to tell. I would say you should at least get 1 or 2 out of every kit. If you like them.
High standard.
If they're doing it right.
They're doing it right. Even though Pinson said if you stock out 1 superior pigeon in 1 year, you have done your job.
Absolutely right.
What if a pair, okay, let's say for instance, what if you had a pair here and they only produce 1 good spinner? And then you go a couple of seasons, they only produce 1. That's what you mean, get rid of the pair and keep the one that did
Well,
spin.
I change my mates every year. I don't breed the same pair. this cock might work better with 3 different hens than the one he's mated to right now.
Okay.
So if you don't try it, you're not gonna find out. In other words, you may have him on a hen that just won't click with him. Put him with other hens until you
And that's how
find,
you fi-
until you
okay.
find the right one.
Okay, but once you get a click pair, how long do you leave them together?
1 year. I
1
change
year.
them every year.
And then change them around?
I change, in other words, the reason that I change my mates, there's no other way to get the half brother, half sister for the pairing. In other words, if I breed him the same way all the time, I'll never have a half brother, half sister. So I made him to a
So,
different
say-
hen, then I have half brother, half
Okay.
sisters.
Say for instance, this cock right here is 89 pigeon. Do you have sons already in the stock loft?
Oh
off
yeah,
of him?
I've got a black checker over there and a red checker over here.
Okay, that's what you're talking about. But he's one of the oldest ones, but he's not really that old.
No, he's the oldest
But
one.
already
yet.
you have sons off of him, where there might be someone that has, and I'm restating this again, like someone may have an 88 pigeon or 89 pigeon where they don't have not a cock, not a hen stocked out of him.
Then I would say the bird is of no value at all.
And the birds are flying over a year and nothing. It's just-
I wouldn't keep him.
Okay, now this tape is like for the novices to understand, I understand this, Peter understands this. It's for the guys that are starting in, because sometimes a person can work a family for 3 or 4 years before the light goes on. And the tape, if they see it, you're a respectable breeder and stuff like that, they may see the light more early. And, and instead of hanging on to the family 3 or 4 or 5 more years or whatever, 3 years or whatever it may be, they can go out and get themselves another family and be 3 years in advance instead of hanging 4
Well,
years.
as long as they start with quality
years behind.
birds from an honest breeder, they shouldn't have no problem.
There's no substitute there's no substitute. You got to pick them out of the air.
Absolutely, absolutely. Or if you want
Someone
to
like Ron
good,
Kumaro.
good,
Ron
qual-
Kumaro.
good quality breeders,
Yeah. Like Ron Kumaro that has such a high reputation. He's honest. Okay. I like what you said about that, about a pigeon that has to reproduce for it to remain in the stock lot. Because there's a lot of people that keep the memorabilia keepers, and then after they keep them so many years, they pass them to somebody else, and they go, oh my God, look at it, it's really close 514, or it's close Red-Headed Hen, or it's close Kowalski Dynamo Blood, or whatever, or close Smith, or whatever, and they go and they take this pigeon and they treasure it, and they breed it for 5 or 6 more years, and the bird's 12 years old, and no one's ever stocked out anything out of it.
that's sad.
Yeah.
Are you learning something today, Johnny Reyes?
Oh no. I'm very familiar with these.
Okay.
Like I have a 13-year-old cock, Peter, that I have sons off of him, grandsons off of him, great grandsons off of him, and I've made it the great granddaughters back onto him, and stocked all birds out of the ear out of him, and I didn't start off with a lot of pigeons, you see, and that's why I work, because when you get a good one, you got to work them. You got to work them.
You got a good one and it reproduces, you keep
You
them.
know, like the family that I have, that I've been cultivating for about 20 years. I made the family out of 3 cocks. I brought in about maybe 10 hens, but out of 3 basic cocks. So all my birds come from those 3 cocks.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You know, and then I put them together, half brother sister matings and stuff like that. But I'm like you, I think, no good anymore. No good. Putting mother to son
No, it's too close.
and
Just
son to
I don't
daughter.
believe in jamming a family up, because it seems like all you do is get a bunch of junk.
I mean, son to mother. I haven't had no results. Nothing good. You know. Sometimes I will do some close breeding, but I haven't had really no success with it.
That's not good.
Is that what's taking place here?
Yeah,
I only have
absolutely.
rye bread. I only have rye bread.
Ask me a question. I'll champion some years.
I'm getting the impression I said that if you lose it in the hand, you lose it in the ear.
Well, that's true. If 9 out of 10 times, a champion in the air has got all the qualities you're looking for. It's got the structure, the wing, the tail, the eye, the feather quality, plus the spin. And that's it. He wouldn't be able to roll right if he didn't have all the other qualities.
And that's proof. You've proven it.
Well, everybody,
Here.
anybody that's got a champion, it's perfect.
We got it. We got what we wanted.
Yeah, we're going around getting people, interviewing. How you been?
Okay, go for it.
Let me get out of the way. I'm gonna come way over here. Hope I got a good spot too.
Where are you guys this morning? What's that? Where are you guys this morning? Years ago.
Hey Kenny, thus this far today, whose pigeons look pretty good?
I've seen 3 good kits, all of them good for different reasons. 2 really good working kits. One kid, Mitchell, had the best working team of the day by far. Big breaks, got a little too high, couldn't score the quality. The other guy, can't recall his name, he had a good working team.
Was that the second flyer of the day or the third flyer?
I think he was around 4th.
The fourth?
And then Norm flew the best quality so far.
Oh, how many points did Norm get today?
139.
130.
But he got the highest quality points. They were just infrequent. When they broke, but they, the hawk hit them. They flew the wind pattern a little bit. So it can't. But the pigeons were there. Had some fast ones.
What kind of pigeons do you like to look for when you're judging them in the air?
Well, I like the fast pigeons, but you have to judge by the rules they
Yeah,
give
the
you.
rules.
That's the part of being the judge. I don't make the rules, I just follow them.
The 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the 1, 2, 3.
Is that pretty simple judging, or is that
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's you gotta get used to it. So
Okay, well, you're gonna be going out tomorrow. Where to? LA
I guess
or Ventura? How many
right.
how many days have you been judging so far?
this first
The first day.
day. So
So
seen
you got-
some nice pigeons already.
How many weeks is it gonna take you to judge out here?
10 days.
10 days. So you're putting up, you're
They're gonna let me go
sacrificing
home.
sacrificing a great deal, huh?
Yeah, no. Actually, I enjoy it. Get to see some good birds.
Okay, Kenny. Well, it was nice talking to you, and
Thanks.
Well, Norm, you just finished flying the World Cup today. How do you feel about your bird's performance in the air?
Well, they didn't do too much. When you have overflies and lose part of your kit, but it really hurts you. They were a little stiff anyway. Too many young birds added in there. So it's you have good days and bad days. That's all there is to it.
But like a trooper, you still participated even though you had a bad day. And so that's one thing we need to key on.
You
Is
can't win 'em all
participation.
anyway.
Participation, right, Norm?
That's all it is. Keep trying.
Okay, Norm, well, me and Johnny Reyes, thank you for having us over today. Your wife, she made us some nice sandwiches, soda, drinks, coffee in the morning. We've been here for a few hours, so we really appreciate it. And we'll get back to you.
Gerke have that one, and Kumaro have that one, and Terry Taylor have that one. Yeah, they were
Dave
super
Gerke
birds.
got this bird right here?
Yeah, Dave Gerke has that hen there.
And which bird is this?
That's a hen off of
You're a beautiful kid.
that tortoise cock, a hen out of the tortoise cock in
Hope you come again.
one of them black checker cocks out there that I showed you.
Okay. And
This is a hen that I bred out of a Kumaro cock in one of my hens. And I sent that back to Ron Kumaro this year.
How many feet was that bird going?
About 25 feet. Nice bird.
That black cock was incredible. That one. I guess it's a.
They can do so good, the
It's
birds?
related to this, yeah.
It's a dog. It's a.
It's
The
no.
mother. It's the mother, isn't it?
Which one?
It's the mother to. That's the mother to that black, isn't it? That black
A
cock
little
bird.
black.
No.
And this bird right here? Last one?
This bird here is a daughter off of 991, and it belongs to Terry Taylor now in Long Beach.
Terry Taylor. Well, one more time, thanks a lot for the
Oh, no
sandwiches
problem.
Yeah. Thank you for everything.
and the Coke and the coffee.
Next time you guys come, this house will be finished.
We'll see you guys later.